Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. I salute you wherever you are watching us, and I hope that this video finds you well. There are a few African leaders who can stand up in the face of the international community, the West, and tell them off when they have crossed the red line. One of those leaders is the Ugandan President Uhuru Museveni. I have never admired Museveni and his style of leadership because I believe he is a dictator. The way he handles opposition, way back starting with Kizza Besigye. Sometimes I remember he poured pepper, pilipili, into Museveni's Besigye's eyes, and Museveni was flown to Kenya for treatment. And every election cycle, he really persecutes anybody who wants to challenge him. The latest is the predicaments of Bobi Wine, when he declared that Bobi Wine would not attempt to challenge him. Of course, Bobi Wine has got the audacity and the courage, and he took on Museveni, gave him a run for his money. So how he deals with the opposition is something that I've never liked, and I have never admired him. But give credit where it's due. If there is one character that I admire about Museveni, is his position against the international community. You know, Museveni is a darling of the international community. In fact, in Africa, he is one of the leaders that have been placed by the West to take care of their interests. The West will always interfere in African affairs under the guise of champions of democracy. But whenever Museveni undertakes these atrocities of interfering with the opponents, they are quiet because Museveni is one of their own. But Museveni has got a line that the West must not cross, and he understands that Uganda is enjoying full autonomy as an independent African country, and he does not take nonsense. So recently, when Museveni signed what has been described as the harshest LGBTQ law, the international community went outrageous about this bill. They were very angry and they complained against this law. US President Joe Biden described the law as an act of shameful and tragic violation of universal human rights, and he threatened to impose sanctions restricting entry into the United States against anyone involved in this, what we call, serious human violation. The UK government, on the other hand, said that they were appalled by this deeply discriminatory bill. So the international community didn't welcome this because obviously they want to force Africa to think the way they think. This bill, as you all know, proposes death penalty or life imprisonment for certain same-sex acts. And it proposes up to 20 years in prison for recruitment, promotion, and funding of same-sex activities. The other day, remember, the US ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, said that they would be using the NGOs to fund and sensitize Kenyans about LGBTQ. So Museveni has signed a law that anyone who will be found funding or promoting, you are liable to up to 20 years in jail. And then anyone found attempting aggravated homosexuality faces 14 years in jail. And it is because of his courage that he went ahead and signed this bill, and the West have gone mad. You see, the international community, the West, feel that we are not with them in the same century. They believe that they're in the 20th century. yet we are lagging behind maybe in the 19th century. And I admire the charisma and the courage of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. When you look at Yoweri Museveni and you juxtapose his character and that of the former president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, you will realize that there is a sharp difference between them. Uhuru Kenyatta was the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces in Kenya, the same way Museveni is. And you wonder why, a few months after he left power, the current regime is humiliating him. They are handling him as if he is a nobody. Yet a few years ago, he was the one who was pulling the strings. We understand that Uhuru Kenyatta left everything in the hands of William Ruto, and he handed over power, saying that it was the best thing to do because it is the requirement in the law, something that I totally agree with. But one thing that I don't agree with, and something that I've not understood, is how they relented, how they manifested laxity to an extent that the Kenya Kwanza team overpowered them, rigged the elections in their face. They watched as the Kenya Kwanza team rigged the Kenyan election, and now as a result of that, they are suffering. Little known Sabina Chege has got the audacity to wrestle power from Uhuru Kenyatta. Kanini Kega, people who in one way or the other benefited from Uhuru's leadership, now have got the courage to wrestle power from Uhuru Kenyatta. Rigathi Gachagua has got the power now to invade Uhuru's land, and he continues to humiliate the Kenyatta family. And you wonder why this is happening. Kenya is at the brink, at the verge of sinking into economic turmoil, courtesy of this regime. And Raila Odinga has called people to go to the streets. And you ask why they waited this long. All of us understand that Uhuru Kenyatta listened to the international community. The USA and Britain decided that they were going to give Kenya a president of their choice. And Uhuru Kenyatta sat back and watched when they were manipulating everything. The US ambassador pitched camp at the Bomas of Kenya, where tallying and verification of results took place, something that has never been seen before. Because as I have always indicated, ambassadors and diplomats will always wait for the last minute when the declaration of the presidential result is done. Then they will be invited, but not spending their time where verification of results is being witnessed. And Uhuru Kenyatta left everything in the hands of William Samoei Ruto. That is why people like the Inspector General were conspicuously missing, and who took charge, his deputy Nor Gabo, who took charge at Bomas, and the Azimio leaders were beaten and humiliated, people like Ledamo Lekina. It beats logics how after apprehending Jose Kamaga and the team at the international JKIA, we could not do a forensic audit, yet Uhuru Kenyatta was the commander-in-chief. The DCI, George Kinoti, tried it, but later the Inspector General and the former IBC chair Chebukati said that they were ready to work together. It is in light of this, ladies and gentlemen, that I want to submit to you that Yoweri's courageous act has served as a very bitter lesson to Uhuru Kenyatta. Because had Uhuru Kenyatta remained firm and told off the international community and drew a line that America and Britain should not pass, all these things wouldn't have been happening. We wouldn't have been left at the hands of a regime that imposing taxes on us. We wouldn't have been left in the hands of a regime that continues to humiliate Uhuru Kenyatta. They want to take his party by force. They have captured the office of the registrar of political parties. And Uhuru is being handled as a normal, as an ordinary Kenyan. And this is something that Waswahili call mwiba wa kujidunga. I have always thought that when America coughs, then the whole world must catch fever. But Uhuru Museveni has indicated and proved to us that there are certain level of tolerance that you can refute. Here they are, they have signed that bill, and the only thing that the US is saying that they want to impose sanctions. How I wish that Uhuru Kenyatta had stood very firm and rejected and prevented any kind of election malpractice. It is very, very shameful for them that now they are now following a regime that is already established. William Ruto has the sword now. He's commanding everything, and I know he's facing challenges here and there. People do not want him, even including those who voted for him. But my cry is that this thing was in the hands of Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. But because of their weakness, they would have stood firm against the machination of the West, because it is the West that had given us Ruto as their project, and they did everything to ensure that Ruto became the president. If Uhuru Kenyatta had stood firm and told them off, maybe things would have been different. They would have stood firm, told Kenyans that here is the West that is trying to impose on us a leader. Kenyans would have gone out and demonstrated. Kenyans would have demonstrated towards the US and UK embassies to show them that we don't tolerate their interference in our elections. This is a lesson to all other African leaders. We should not tolerate the USA and Britain and these Western countries that want to interfere in our elections, want to interfere in our affairs. They don't realize that we are an autonomous continent. And the reason why I'm bitter about this is because I sympathize with people like Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga. They want to go to the streets. When they try going to the streets, 10 bullets and attempted murder on Raila's car. When you have the power, when you have the authority, use it. And that is the lesson that Museveni is telling other presidents. Let us not tolerate USA to the extent that they go to our bedrooms. Sometimes we need to stop them right on their track. And this is why I'm saying that this has served as a lesson. Even though it is too late for Uhuru Kenyatta, other presidents can emulate what is happening. And Museveni, even though I have never subscribed to your political ideologies, on this I support you 100%. Uganda is autonomous, an independent country, and you should not allow Biden to come right inside your bedroom. Again, I salute you on this. Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga, you wasted an opportunity. Fortune knocks once at every man's door. I don't know what you are going to do now. It's only by Kenyans going to the streets that this regime can be defeated.